I am a dancer in a bar, and he wants to teach me how to be a real man. You call that dancing? Looks like a cry for help in stilettos. That was the first thing he ever said to me, and somehow I still fell for him. It was a Thursday night, and the air inside the club smelled like sweat, smoke, and glitter. The kind of place where names didn't matter, and pasts got drowned out by bass lines. I just finished my second set, shirt off, money tucked in my waistband, thighs aching, when he walked in like he owned the goddamn place. He didn't belong here. Too clean, too stiff, too military for a place where broken boys came to shimmer in the dark. But his eyes didn't flinch when they landed on me. In fact, they narrowed, like he saw something in me that needed fixing. I'm not broken, I told him after the show, cigarette trembling between my fingers. No, he said, voice like a gravel road. You're just lost. His name was Cole, former Marine, 6'3", straight-backed, jaw carved from stone, hands that looked like they'd seen war, and still, somehow he smelled like laundry detergent and rain. Not cologne, not sweat, just home. He said he was only in town for a few weeks. Something about helping out his brother, who owned a garage nearby. I didn't care. He shouldn't have come to my bar, shouldn't have stared at me like that, shouldn't have followed me into the alley after my last dance. You ever think about doing something else with your life? He asked, standing too close, his shadow swallowing mine. I flicked ash at his boots. You mean something more masculine? His silence said yes. That's how it started. With tension, fire, resentment. I hated him. I wanted him. He kept showing up. Sat at the bar, didn't drink. Just watched. Sometimes we talked. Sometimes I yelled. One night, I screamed in his face, "I'm not your fucking charity project, Cole." He didn't flinch. Just said, "I know." And then he kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was angry, confusing, raw. The kind of kiss that knocks your soul loose. I shoved him against the brick wall, punched his chest once, then kissed him back harder. I tasted his rules, his guilt, his denial. I gave him my ache in return. He didn't come back for a week. We fell into something strange. Not quite love, not quite war. He'd take me out after my shifts, made me eat real food, made me talk about my past, about my mom who kicked me out, the nights I slept behind dumpsters, the first time I danced just to feel seen. And I learned about him, how his father taught him to bury softness, how the Marines turned that into religion, how he lost a man once, a man he loved but couldn't name. He died thinking I was ashamed, Cole whispered once, knuckles white on the steering wheel. That night, I danced like it was for him alone. No crowd, no lights, just us in my crappy apartment. Music playing soft, shirt half unbuttoned, bearing not skin but trust. He watched like I was breaking him open. But love is not always enough to outrun shame. When his brother found out, saw us holding hands behind the garage, exploded. Called me every name I've been called since I was 16. Told Cole he was disgusting. Told him to choose. And Cole, he didn't say a word. He walked away from me. I didn't dance for 2 weeks. Couldn't. Not because of heartbreak, I'd survived worse, but because when he left, he took the mirror I'd finally dared to look into. The one that told me maybe, just maybe, I wasn't too much. Wasn't wrong. When I finally returned to the club, I danced like a ghost. Everyone knew it. The crowd didn't cheer. The manager asked if I was sick. I just said, "Love is an illness, right?" Then he showed up again. It was raining like hell. My set had just ended. I was backstage, makeup smudged, feet blistered, heart quiet. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "I'm sorry," he said. "I was scared." "Of me?" He shook his head. "Of loving you out loud." He dropped to his knees right there, in that grimy dressing room, forehead pressed to my stomach. "Teach me how to be brave the way you are." I laughed, choked, pulled him up, kissed him hard enough to bleed. "No," I said. "We teach each other." We moved out of the city a few months later. Found a small place near a lake. He got a job teaching self-defense at a community center. I kept dancing, this time on my own terms. Workshops, movement therapy. I taught queer kids how to love their bodies again. Sometimes, when it's just us and the world is quiet, he holds me like he used to hold a rifle. Not out of fear but to protect something precious. You know, he murmured one night, you were always more of a man than I ever was. I smiled into his chest. You were always more of a heart than you let yourself believe. And in that stillness I realized something. Love doesn't make us more or less of a man. It just makes us whole. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.